Hello and welcome to this e-class. This is Mandeep Kaur, your English teacher, and this video is designed for final year graduates. I'll begin your syllabus with poetry section, and the first poem that we are going to take up is At the Beck of Progress by Taslima Nasreen. Now before we begin with the poem, I would like to give you a brief intro of the poet Taslima Nasreen. I would like to believe that you have read about Nasreen in newspapers and you are familiar with her name, क्योंकि नसरीन का जो नाम है वो न्यूज़पेपर्स में काफ़ी चर्चा में रहा है. बट स्टिल फॉर द अनइनिशिएटेड, नसरीन इज़ अ बांग्लादेशी स्वीडिश राइटर. शी वाज बोर्न इन बांग्लादेश इन 1962 और अपने क्रांतिकारी विचारों के लिए काफ़ी फेमस हैं वो. एंड शी इज़ अ पॉपुलर फेमिनिस्ट, फेमस ह्यूमन राइट्स एक्टिविस्ट, एक डॉक्टर भी रही हैं वो. एंड बेसिकली इट वाज इन 1990s जब वो एकदम से लाइमलाइट में आई थी विद हर राइटिंग्स, विद हर एसेज. एंड in her writings she has talked about the oppression of women, about the subjugation of women. She has also written extensively about religious criticism, and she ran into controversy when she accused religion in her criticism that religion is misogynistic in nature and it's anti-women, and as a consequence fatwas were issued for her death, and she had to flee Bangladesh to save her life, to literally save her life, and she was exiled from there. And उसके बाद में वो इंडिया में भी आई, यूके में भी रही. जब वो इंडिया में आई, शी स्टेड इन वेस्ट बंगाल, तो वहाँ पे भी उनका काफ़ी विरोध हुआ दैट शी शुडंट बी हियर and that she is anti-religion. And I mean, owing to the controversial content of her writings, many organizations were against her. Even in Bangladesh, there were certain organizations which were against her. And finally, I mean, after facing this much protest from multiple sects, from multiple organizations, she managed to have the citizenship of Sweden. So right now, her status of her nationality, we call her Bangladeshi Swedish writer. And one of the most controversial of her writings is Lajja, her novel, translated as Shame, and which was written after Babri Masjid demolition in India around 1992. And the story of the novel is based on the atrocities on Hindu natives of Bangladesh by the Muslim natives, and how they were forced to flee away from Bangladesh. And this was the story which made her run into controversy. And as a result, a fatwa was issued on her and she fled away from Bangladesh for saving her life. And Nasreen became a face as the book soon gained immense popularity. So students, that's Nasreen for you, and if you would like to explore more of Nasreen, then you can of course Google and you'll find some of her interviews wherein she has expressed herself quite extensively. And moreover, her autobiography is available. If you would like to know Nasreen from close quarters, then you can go through that. But for the time being, we have one poem by Nasreen in our syllabi, that is At the Beck of Progress, that again talks about the oppression of women, about the subjugation of women. This poem, At the Beck of Progress, basically narrates the story of three men. The first one is a white-collar upper-class man in a nice office. The second one is an employee, subordinate of the first man. And the third man is a bearer, a worker, the most common of the group. And in all the three stories, there is one thing which is common, and that is how these men oppress the women in their lives. Students, as we have already talked about it in our intro, that Nasreen was a famous feminist, और वो अपने क्रांतिकारी विचारों के लिए काफ़ी फेमस भी रही हैं. So Nasreen is a woman who is not afraid to speak her mind. Her poems portray women trying to escape from a patriarchal system, a male-dominating society, where men are always blocking the door, where men follow you and whistle, and where rapists hand out character references. And Nasreen's poem, At the Beck of Progress, is a poem wherein Nasreen portrays the harsh reality that sexual domination and exploitation of women is part of the tradition that affects all social classes of women. Irrespective of the class a woman belongs, the subjugation that she undergoes, exploitation which she faces in her life, it remains the same. It's mockery of the idea of progress. As you see the very title, it's the back of the progress. What is there that lies at the back of the progress? The actual truth of the progress. For the secondary effects of progress is the abuse of women. Okay, now we'll gear up towards the poem line by line. Please pay attention to the text of the poem on your screens and have a pen ready by your side so that you can jot down the meaning of difficult words. The fellow who sits in the air-conditioned office is the one who in his youth raped a dozen or so young girls, and at cocktail parties is secretly stricken with lust, fastening his eyes on Lovely's belly buttons. In five-star hotels, he tries out his different sexual tastes with a variety of women, then returns home and beats his wife because of an over-ironed handkerchief or shirt collar. In his office, Mr. Big puffs on a cigarette, shuffles through files, rings for his employee, shouts, demands tea, drinks, and returns to writing people's character references. The first man in Nasreen's narrative poem belongs to the top layer of corporate world, the top layer of society, and this is the man who sits in his air-conditioned office and has a very disgusting and derisive history, because when he was young, he raped so very many girls. He raped dozen or more than that. And mark the expression which Nasreen has used here. He has raped dozen or so girls. So that signifies that even the number of girls he has raped is not sure, whether they were dozen or more, even more than that. So that shows the extremity of situation. And this man, when he goes for cocktail parties, all that he can think of is on sexual gratification, and he keeps casting his lecherous gaze on the bodies of beautiful girls. He keeps casting his a lewd gaze on the belly buttons of girls, on the navels of girls, and even in the hotel rooms, he keeps experimenting, he keeps sexually experimenting with different girls. So that shows the character of this man, that he's libertine, he's lascivious and a lecherous kind of a person who is always filled with lewd thoughts about women at his workplace or when he goes to the parties. Now, the navel of a woman is a symbol of her motherhood, her reproductory powers, her power to give birth, her creating ability. And this man, he wants to control that. He wants to control her sexuality. He wants to control her motherhood. As he is casting his lewd gaze, he's casting his evil gaze on her motherhood, on her navel, on her belly button. So that shows that he is trying to proliferate that as it's his dominant instinct to control the women, to make her submissive, to oppress her to the extent that she is left with no identity of her own, and she becomes to drive her to that point wherein she becomes his subordinate, and she becomes a subaltern, one who doesn't have her own identity or importance. And since this man is a figure of authority, so he has the authority to call his employees, to call his the people who serve in his office. He rings the bell for them and keeps asking for tea or anything else, whatever he needs. And then he goes home and he beats his wife. Now, why does he beat his wife? Just because she has over-ironed his hanky or over-ironed his collar. So this shows his character. This shows his double standard. This man also writes character certificates for others, and this shows the irony of situation कि एक person जिसका खुद का character questionable है, lewd है, and that person is writing character certificate for others. So this is the double standard of society, which Nasreen the feminist wanted to target. And in this whole poem, Nasreen will keep targeting this very double standard of society. And she begins with this man, the person who belongs to the top layer, and he's a man who sits in his air-conditioned office, and all that he can think of is his lewd thoughts about girls. He keeps casting his evil gaze on the belly buttons of beautiful girls, keeps casting his gaze on the bodies of girls whenever he goes to the cocktail parties, and then he rings the bell for his peon or for somebody to serve him tea or anything that he wants, and then he writes the character certificates for people, and when he goes home, he beats his wife just because of an over-ironed hanky or over-ironed shirt. His employee speaks in such a low voice that no one would ever suspect how at home he also raises his voice, is wild to his family, but with his buddies on the porch or at a movie, indulges in loud harangues on politics, art, literature, and how some female, his mother, grandmother, or great-grandmother, committed suicide. Bidding goodbye to his buddies, he returns home, beats his wife over a bar of soap, or the baby's pneumonia. The next man in the poem is an employee. He works for the first man. He is a subordinate of the first man. And when in office, he speaks in such a low voice that nobody can doubt that this very person can be aggressive at his home. And he pretends to be a great person, but actually he is not. And he's very vile to his family. Vile means he is very nasty to his family. And when he is in the company of his friends, on the porch or at the movies, so he keeps delivering loud harangues. Now, harangues mean passionate, aggressive speeches, diatribes. And he keeps delivering vehement speeches when he is in the company of his friends. He keeps parading his knowledge, his political knowledge, his argumentative genius, or his knowledge of arts, literature, or something else. And he makes a very good show that he is a great man, but actually he is the one who is very aggressive at home. And when he bids goodbye to his friends and goes home, he beats his wife just because of the remnants of soap on his clothes, or because his child has got pneumonia, and he accuses his wife for that she hasn't taken good care of his kids. And his wife accepts all this beating from her husband because she doesn't know anything else. This has become her habit, to tolerate all that her husband gives to her. And she has learned this role. And this beating process carries from one generation to the next. And this beating process and the tolerance of women keeps passing from one generation to the next. And it's transferred through not transferred through the women, but through the men. And he carries on this horrible cycle of beating. And the outcome of it is suicide of every woman in its path. Like the man, he mentions that, Nasreen mentions that some of the women in his family, his mother, his grandmother, they have committed suicide. So this being the reason that they have tolerated enough. And these multiple suicides in the family, it amplifies the tragic masses, which shows the depth of the actions of men in the family, that how aggressive they were towards the women of their family. Next day at work, he pleasantly brings the tea, keeps the lighter in his pocket, receives the tip of a couple of taka, and tells no one that he divorced his first wife for her sterility, his second for giving birth to a daughter, his third for not bringing sufficient dowry. Now with his wife number 4, he again has someone to beat over a green chili or a handful of rice. The last man in the hierarchy and in the poem is a worker, the bearer, the servant, who brings tea whenever it's ordered, and he keeps a lighter in his pocket, and he also receives a tip in the form of takas. Takas, like we have rupees, so in Bangladesh there are takas. It's Bangladeshi currency, and he hides a secret, and that secret is that he divorced his wife, his first wife, for her sterility. That is, because she couldn't bear him kids, she couldn't bear him children, so he divorced his first wife. And he also divorced his second wife because he's gender biased, and his wife, she gave birth to a daughter, and he was unhappy with her, and he divorced his second wife too. And even what goes about his third wife, that she didn't bring him sufficient dowry, so he divorced her also. And now he's with his fourth wife, and he's again having some issues with her, and he keeps beating her again, and he keeps beating her too, and over a green chili or rice, that she hasn't cooked the rice well, or she has added extra chili in his dishes, or he keeps conducting some excuses to beat his wife. And because he has already divorced 3 of his wives, and for no fault of their own, and now again he's having issues with his fourth wife. So this again shows the character of this man and the double standard of this man, that he has the authority and he has the audacity to divorce his wife just because she couldn't bring him money, just because she couldn't bring him dowry. So that shows that in our society, like the way in Asian countries, like dowry is used as a mode of criminal extortion. Marriages used as a to have money from the bride's family as a means of criminal extortion. And he divorced his wife just because of that, and one more wife he divorced just because she gave birth to a daughter. So this shows his character, this shows his meanness. I hope the poem is clear to you. Now we'll briefly talk about the title of the poem, The Back of Progress. See, if you observe this poem carefully, the text of the poem carefully, you will notice that the poem is full of modern things, the so-called progressive things, like we have air conditioning, we have movies, and then art, literature, politics. The white-collar workers are there, the puffs of cigarette are there, and these all are the symbols of progress. This is the you can say that the face of the progress, the front part of the progress. But what lies at the back of the progress, that is what the intention of Nasreen is. She wants to show you the back of the progress, something which lies behind it, which is not visible to the bare eye, but you will have to be sensitive enough to grasp what lies at the back of progress. And if you will notice that, if you will notice these symbols of progress, then you will find that these symbols are lost. These progressive, these modern symbols of progress are lost in the terror of the crimes committed by the men. And this is the opposite of what we know. And Nasreen calls us to remember progress is measured by meaningless things. And we must forget what we are told sometimes in order to find truth. And she shows us the back of progress, and it's the weakest point, that what lies at the back is something which is not progressive at all. So students, this is a typical Nasreen poem wherein she has recorded the experience, the painful experience of women in a patriarchal society, in a male-dominating society. And one thing curious about the poem, the women in the poem are silent. They are on the receiving end, while the men in the poem, they are loud, they are aggressive. And women are not given voice, as is the case in patriarchal society. Women are supposed to bear it all silently without complaining, and this is all they are supposed to know, that they are their husbands or they are the men in their lives, and they are not supposed to protest, even if they are nasty towards them, even if they are beating them, or they are finding excuses to beat them, but still women are not supposed to protest. And that is something which lies at the back of the progress which Nasreen wanted to show. And this poem is a scathing satire on the society, on the double standards of society and how it needs to be changed. This was the motto of Nasreen behind writing this poem, because she has some obsession with society, that how it subjugates the women, how it treats women as something which is other, as something which is subaltern, and their identity is not given importance. And she puts forth this argument in the form of this poem, and it adds to the poignancy of the poem. It adds to the intensity of the poem. We can feel the pain of the women in the poem, those who committed suicide or those who were raped in the very first stanza, as she depicts, and the women who are beaten by the husbands or by the men in their lives, and it all generates sympathy for them, and it creates a sense of reason that this is something which needs to be addressed, that this issue is not something ordinary, and it's something quite painful, and it needs to be addressed urgently. So this poem has the spirit of urgency, which is typical of Nasreen, as she was a feminist and these issues appealed to her, and she saw the negative things happening around her. She saw the atrocities targeted towards women, and she wanted to combat that. She wanted the women to realize that, and she has depicted that in her poetry. I hope that sums up the poem for you, and in case you have any queries, any doubts, or something which you couldn't get, please leave the comments below, and I'll try to solve that. Thank you for listening.